Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, Bitcoin J. How's it going?
Happy Friday, Jackal. Going well, going well.
Good. Welcome everyone to this September 16th weekly edition of Crypto Weekend Watchlist. Today is the first day after the Ethereum merge, which Bitcoin J is a huge fan of. He's always been a fan of the merge, and I think he's really glad that it's over with, and he made a lot of money with it, but not the way that you would expect. He did short most of it, and so we will be going over a few of those trades and what we are looking to into this coming week. I am personally bearish. Jay, and 30 seconds or less, explain how you played the Ethereum merge over the past few days.
So with the Ethereum merge, I already beforehand had the buy the rumor and then sell the news kind of mentality. That was my bigger bias for the ETH merge. I basically knew that a huge narrative was being created for people to basically sell, fill their huge short orders. That's literally the narrative is being created and retail buys into it. And people, I said it also in the Discord, if you're investing into something that you don't understand and you're just buying a narrative, you're looking to be that bubble that is going to pop at some point. So then that was kind of what I was looking for on ETH. And then technically just a big head and shoulders on the 4-hour and daily time frames. And we carved out a right shoulder there at 1800 for ETH, and then rejecting below 1800 was a big warning sign that we wouldn't see that 2K and up, and that we were simply going to come down to these 1400 levels, which yesterday I did short that. But right now I think that probably a lot of the shorts are taking profit, and I'm bullish short term. So I'm really definitely looking at longs. I'm currently in a Bitcoin long on the Discord.
Cool. I love that. I personally just got out of my shorts as well. I have been looking to get into more. However, with that being said, I may have to relook at things now that you're a short-term bullish, because you're a little wizard when it comes to Bitcoin. So yeah, I may have to reevaluate. But while I'm talking, I'm just going to show we got the Bitcoin hourly on the left-hand side and Avalanche over on the right-hand side. So Jay, with Ethereum in this merge, do you think, fundamentally speaking, I know you're mostly just technical, but fundamentally speaking, how do you feel how this will impact the future? Mostly I guess the community around crypto. How do you think that will really impact crypto as a whole, on a fundamental level, not a technical level?
I don't really know the details about the merge, and I would not be the best person to ask what exactly is technically changing. But I just think that right now it's very likely that something like Solana is actually going to outperform ETH, because ETH had its crazy bear market rally there. It pumped a lot from under 900 to 2K. That's a huge rally. I think it's time that other things are kind of looking to take over a little bit for ETH now. It's basically had its time. The merge is over. It's there. Everybody got their little airdrop that already went down. So people exited out of that very quickly. So I'm not
Yeah.
too big of a fan of it, to be honest. I picked up some Solana today, some XRP. Those are definitely things that I find way more interesting to look at than an Ethereum, and then obviously just Bitcoin, because also the ETH Bitcoin chart is something that I look at very frequently, and that gives the game away to whether altcoins can do well. Typically, when ETH bleeds against Bitcoin, that's when altcoins also struggle massively. So the ETH Bitcoin chart here on the 4-hourly time frame, we also had a rejection at these higher levels, and right now it's not looking all too good for that. So I'm definitely more so interested in even in really straying away from Ethereum here short term.
I gotcha. Well, for those of you that don't know exactly what the merge was, in a nutshell, it was basically just an upgrade to the network. It'll make things easier to get into, right? Less barriers of entry. Things will be a little bit cheaper when dealing with transaction fees. Things should be, in theory, faster, and you won't have to go through the miners, which is a huge uh, uh, like ecologically speaking, it's a pretty big issue, especially with all these warehouse full of miners are just constantly just churning away. They're using a lot of fossil fuels. So in a nutshell, it's basically just a quick upgrade, a little update, if you will, on the network itself. And it should make things a little bit easier in general for those that actually use the network or would like to use the network. That's a great point about the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. What is this chart we have right here?
This right here is the Bitcoin USDT chart from
Okay.
today, because I pulled this up because we just had like an alert in the Discord longing this from 19560-ish, and I
Yep.
just had a stop loss pretty wide here, but under this previous low, because I think this is a pretty strong kind of like double bottom, creating some higher highs here on the lower time frame on the 5 minute. This is typically what I like to look at. Like this is a kind of break of the structure of this downtrend. So that told me that we're looking potentially to sweep some liquidity to the upside here. So right now I was looking at this ascending wedge thinking that, okay, that's bearish and we can retest these lower levels, but it looks like we just had a nice green candle breaking out of that ascending wedge and now retesting it as support. So if we continue up here, that's going to look good. And like my first profit taking target is kind of these highs here at 19,850.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of reasonable that we do that, and I'm just happy to chill in this trade here right now.
Nice. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Well, since we have talked about the Ethereum merge already, if you had to pick, you are short-term bullish. So, what are your top three choices that you think cryptos that may outperform the market over the next 5 to 7 days?
I would say XRP, because XRP also today it caught my attention. I DCA'd into it this morning, first thing after I woke up. I DCA'd into XRP, and today actually we had quite a sell-off on Ethereum and on Bitcoin, but it looked like XRP was up like a couple of percent today, so it really showed some strength. That's something that can really outperform the market on a good kind of like news or whatever. So XRP is definitely up there, and then I would say Solana is something that I find very interesting at these levels at like $32 and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a fact that there's a lot of people in Solana that have averages above $100, and even that just bought into it at like $80 and $70, and those people, they won't sell, right? So they are just waiting for an exit and to basically get out at break even. So I think that getting in around these levels definitely wouldn't hurt, because you have a lot of people that will not sell and that are going to keep, that are basically, you'll see higher levels again. I think even if we
Yeah.
continue down, I probably expect a little bit of a rally, because I'm also looking at the DXY and I was seeing some huge bearish divergence there on like larger time frames. So if I'm just like not biased, not looking at the news, and you would only give me the chart of the DXY, I would say, well, this thing is going to come down at some point for a little bit more. And so that would mean short-term bullishness in the crypto markets,
Right.
and that's where I'm at.
Cool. Cool. I'm not a fan of Solana, but I'm getting to the point where it's kind of hard to keep shorting it at this point.
Yeah.
At this 31,
Yeah,
$33 level, it's getting a little more
exactly.
difficult to short. So I mean, it's a good point. A lot of these cryptos seem like they've been exhausted, I guess, of some of their
Mhm.
shorts recently. However, when I look at the Bitcoin chart, I do not see this is the bottom. But on some of the other altcoins, I does kind of look like we're approaching bottoms.
I agree.
So we do have a comment. I'm not I'm not entirely sure what they mean. WC level J. I'm assuming this was towards you. Um,
I think it's a RuneScape reference.
okay.
Woodcutting level J. I think he's referring, or she is referring to RuneScape, like 79. There is the answer.
Okay. Interesting. I have no idea what that means, but I'm glad that you could answer that. Well, me personally, my choices for this coming week are going to be Cardano. I think we could see a little bit of a push as we approach this Vassal hard fork, which
Mhm.
comes out on the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So we could see a little bit of a push there. If you could pull up that chart, the Cardano chart.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, sir. Uh, so we could see a little bit of push from Cardano as we approach that hard fork, and then I will most certainly, almost certainly, be shorting it on the 22nd. So that's in
Yeah,
6 days. So that's next Thursday, I believe.
that's
Um,
right here. I can draw like a horizontal line that would be on the 22nd, like you say. That would
yeah,
be right there, selling the news basically at that.
right. So we could see a little bit of a pop, start to come up, and then it would play into its wedge, potential wedge formation that it looks like it could be forming. But then I do think it will come down. What price action are we at on Cardano at the moment?
It looks like, to me, it looks indeed like you say. It looks like a little bit of a wedge we've got going on here
Right.
for ADA, and I would take it like this, basically saying we're falling out of it to the downside. Also under the 50 EMA here on the daily time frame, all of these things that's not really doesn't really look all too amazing short term.
Right. No, it doesn't. This is one. I've never been a huge Cardano fan, but long term, I do think it will be a good coin. It's a good project, but in the short term, I am pretty bearish on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some downward action after the Basel hard fork on the 22nd. And with that, I do agree with XRP as a good one here. And then again, Solana. I know it's two of our same picks, but Solana just is seeming harder and harder to short.
Yeah,
So
and that's a good point. Like that's how you know it's good to DACA into the markets a bit. If your shorts become more and more difficult, okay, then you got to buy support.
right, exactly. So. But that we are approaching that 12-minute mark. So these are supposed to just be a quick little. Here's what we're looking at. Here's what the market did, and here's what we expect. So, are there any last
Oh,
thoughts that you have?
yeah, one more thing actually is a coin that we looked at like weeks ago is Chili's, and I can pull up the chart here because that's like this kind of like outlier that will do its own thing. It's up 7%
Right.
today, and I remember being in a live stream yesterday in the Titan, and we talked about Chili's, and I said how nice it was that we were finding support on that 50 EMA, and then we started off green yesterday, and we're already up. This is something very interesting to me. It's holding beautifully that support, that red line here, the 50 EMA. It basically broke above that end of July, and it has been above it ever since. So this kind of looks interesting for me still. It looks strong. So yeah, drawing kind of a wedge here. You could say it's a little bit of a bull flag because it's coming off a huge impulsive move here.
Yeah,
So
for
if
sure.
if we break that resistance, and the safest thing to do here will be to wait for a break and a retest above that resistance line. But then your impulse that you're looking at, that can take you all the way up there. Nothing can stop it, right? To 55 cents, and it's definitely possible, right? So this is an interesting one.
Yeah, Chili's is interesting. And I do remember when you called it a couple weeks ago. It was
Yeah, that was
beautiful.
right here.
Yeah,
One of these 2 days. That was actually a Friday,
it was
and
beautiful.
then we got that higher high up there. And then now, if we break that resistance here, then that's actually our target to that 26.5 again.
It's beautiful.
Definitely possible.
Look at that. So there you go, guys. Chili's. Now we're playing Chili's. So well, cool. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. And
Thank
to
you,
everyone
man.
else, if there are no further questions in the chat, we're going to end this stream. And really appreciate everyone that comes and tunes into this every single Friday. We'll catch you guys later. Bye, everyone.
See ya.